Hey YouTube people, thank you for joining me. Hey YouTube people, thank you for joining me today. Today I got myself the CMC trigger for my new AR build, going with some Daniel Defense parts for this build. When I took this trigger out of the box, dropped it in, first thing I noticed was every time I would pull the trigger, cock the hammer back, let go of the trigger, would not reset to the firing position. So I had to physically push the trigger forward for it to reset, then it would fire again, which I thought was a little weird. Maybe it's a California compliant trigger. I took a look at the box, it was not. So it must be a problem. So I went ahead and dropped a bunch of oil into the internals and the springs and worked it for about a good 10 minutes, and it seems like it has fixed the problem. So now I pulled the trigger, reset the hammer, let go. It does reset, but it's a slow and weak reset. So I don't know if I'm maybe if I shoot a few hundred rounds through it, break it in a little bit more, it might become a little bit better. If it doesn't, we might just have to file this down just a little bit, which I've seen a lot of people do to their triggers, not this trigger in particular, and I feel like you shouldn't have to do that to this trigger just because, you pay a little bit over $100 for it, and if you pay that much for something, it should be good to go right out of the box. This one was not, which is a little disappointing, but I have heard good things about this trigger, and let's see how it shoots. Maybe I'll still like it. Hey, welcome back. So, took it out shooting over there. It was cold and windy out there, but I was still able to get some footage. And I mean, wow, this trigger is definitely a lot better than shooting a mil spec trigger. And the squeeze on this trigger is a lot lighter. And didn't have any issues with it resetting at all. And I was able to shoot this with this trigger a lot faster than I could with the mil spec trigger. And at first, when I shot the few rounds, I was like, guys, it really that much better. But when you start shooting rapid fire, that's where you notice the difference. That's what you pay for. Definitely on this with this trigger, it was just smooth and fast and just really fun trigger to shoot. And I got some comparisons here. I'll show you shooting the mil spec trigger and this trigger, the difference. So as you can see, I definitely feel like I was shooting a lot faster using this trigger versus the mil spec trigger, and the pull was it's a lot wider, and the reset on it was just fine. Didn't feel like it was causing me any issues, and so I feel like I'm just gonna keep the trigger the way that it is. I'm not gonna file anything down. Get some more practice with it. Maybe later that will change. And yeah, let me know if you've had any issues with this trigger, if you had a trigger like this, if you had any reset issues with it, and what did you do with it? Did you return it, get a different one, or if you just, if you did the same thing I did, maybe. Yeah, thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe and have an amazing day.